the south of the United States, Texas. We're on Interstate 35. It's noon. A car accident has just happened. Rick, a policeman, called into action, is tense.
Apparently there's a major accident up north on the freeway involving an overturned 18-wheeler and several other cars, pretty much blocking all lanes of traffic northbound.
On the spot, police and emergency services are on alert. The pileup is serious. 5 vehicles crashed, all were badly damaged. The force of the impact caused windows, doors, and hoods to shatter. The roadway is still marked with the signs of the collision. The cause? This car was hit by a tow truck. The driver of the vehicle was immediately taken care of by the ambulance. Her condition is worrying. The other drivers were miraculously unharmed, yet mystery still remains.
I don't know exactly how this vehicle got here.
These 2 cars are in an area inaccessible to drivers.
This barricade is to block off these lanes here that are closed. There aren't supposed to be any traffic here at all. This is closed. It's under construction.
How did they get there?
At that ramp over there. So when he hit it, the one on top just went over the barricade. Wow, that's a lot of force.
Of the accident.
There was a lady that ran out of gas in the traffic lane. The record driver, for some reason, did not see her, hit her, caused the accident, and then diverted him over this way, hitting the barricade. It hit it with such force that it pretty much looks like it threw the barricade over, and he wound up over there.
The victims of the accident are still shocked. This man was driving right behind the tow truck.
I hit his oil patch and I slid into the back and hit where the tow bar is. I didn't have my airbags go up or anything, so as soon as I kind of hit that, I got myself stopped, put it into park. I got out and I went to go check on the tow truck driver because his vehicle caught fire and everything. I wanted to main thing for me was making sure he was all right. Very shocking. I'm just glad everyone's okay. It didn't end up as bad as it could have been.
The priority now is to avoid another accident, which Rick fears. Interstate 35 crosses the whole state.
Get out of here. 287.
It's one of the busiest roads in the USA. For safety reasons, the policeman decides to divert the traffic.
Moving onto another freeway, and they can figure out later how to get back on.
It will take 2 hours to clear the road and make it safe again. Shocked more than harmed, the driver escaped with only minor injuries. In Texas, these spectacular accidents have become a daily occurrence in recent years. It's the scourge of this huge state, the second most populated in the United States. With a crash reported every 56 seconds, Texas is the leading state in traffic accidents.
And I don't know how someone would survive that, or how they would even get out of the vehicle.
One of the most dangerous roads, Interstate 35, which crosses Texas from north to south, passing through the cities of Dallas and San Antonio. A busy road with a sad record. 1 person killed every 2 hours. Most accidents are caused by speeding. In Texas, in spite of the limits, sanctions are almost non-existent, and police officers seem to be complacent.
I think a warning will change her mind.
Another problem is bad weather. The state is prone to heavy rains, causing numerous accidents. The most spectacular one took place in 2021 with 130 cars involved. Trauma for Texans.
What the fuck?
This was like, it kept happening, hit after hit, sparks were flying.
Accidents, a lot of bad ones, but that was by far the worst one I've seen. It was just kind of mind-blowing to see something like that.
In Fort Worth and Dallas, authorities are always on the lookout for dangerous driving. For 2 months, we followed these heroes who watch over the road, like Rick, who has been a police officer for 25 years and has seen some of the most dramatic accidents.
And sometimes you'll see things that the human is not supposed to see, but it's part of the job.
Or James, head of one of the biggest tow truck companies.
Go ahead and go get your truck.
Every day, he and his crew risk their lives doing their jobs.
The longer they stay here, these people, the drivers become a target, and these people don't care.
Texas roads are perfect for all kinds of extreme behavior. It's not rare to come across a new kind of driver. Fans of wild rodeos, disregarding safety rules and especially the lives of other drivers.
If they hadn't been done, he would still been with us. You know, he lost his life over something stupid, you know.
Among reckless drivers and madmen behind the wheel, we dive into the Texas roads of hell. It's 11 p.m., 31 miles from Dallas. The city of Fort Worth is about to have an eventful night. Rick, the policeman, has just been called in for an unusual accident.
So where are we? Right now we're at 2350 South Riverside on the east side of downtown.
In this suburban district, the residents are witnessing a surreal scene. Dozens of police vehicles, fire trucks and ambulances. The reason? A car chase that went wrong.
Information that came over the MDC that stated that there was a robbery where they stole the car. Well, they located the vehicle, they tried to pull it over, and the guy ran from them at a high-speed pursuit. The suspect lost control, rolled over several times on top of some other cars, and they just barely pulled him out.
Police have hundreds of videos of these forceful arrests. Fugitives take all kinds of risks, like driving at full speed in the city centre. Chases that can last for hours. Until the inevitable happens. An accident. Perpetrators usually end up crashing, as they did again tonight.
If you would, I'll show you where it came in. This is the location where the vehicle entered the yard. You can see the evidence, the tire marks where, just in front of that patrol car, you can see the tire marks where he came through here at a high rate of speed. And if you look right here, you can see where it left the trail. Yeah, the vehicle is still there. I think we're looking at the bottom of it.
Stuck between trees, the car is a wreck. The runaway is in a serious state. He must be urgently transported to the hospital.
The driver's condition is not good. I'm sure he's going to live. There's a good chance he might lose his leg. And of course, he's got bumps and bruises on him, so we still don't know the right condition, but he's hurting right now.
For stealing a vehicle and fleeing, the driver faces at least 3 years in prison. A spectacular accident that will not be the only one tonight. Across town on Interstate 35, two cars have just collided very violently on a bridge. These four people feared for their lives. A pickup truck ran into them. Under the extreme force of the impact, the vehicle turned over entirely. The other car is pulverized. Trunk crushed and windows smashed into thousands of pieces. The accident could have been fatal. Rick wants to understand what happened.
This is part of it as well. And based on where the skid marks or where that truck is, it has to have some space. So,
Well, I mean, this is where the truck laid down.
he'd hit it and move over that way. Yeah, I think the car was actually off the road. I don't think it was on the...
Going over 68 miles per hour, it was impossible for the pickup to avoid the stationary car without a warning sign. Miraculously, all 4 passengers were not inside the car at the time of impact.
The car we have right here in front of us, for some reason it was broke down and was partially blocking the traffic lane. This truck comes up behind it and rear ends it, hits it from behind, flipping the truck over and knocking the car up about 50 to 60 feet from where it was originally parked.
Distraught, the mother of the driver of the pickup came to see the damage. In disbelief in front of the wreckage of the vehicle, Rick goes to comfort her.
He's gonna be a little sore in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Right now he's not feeling it because of adrenaline, yeah. But there's nothing you can do for that. It's just like starting a workout, you know. You're gonna be sore, you gotta get over it.
He's
They just told me that I was supposed to tell you all that.
The teenager, however, remains philosophical.
Whatever happens, it's chances. It's life. So what? It happened before I even knew what happened.
An accident that ended well, but everyone knows that the risk of crashing is always looming over the heads of drivers. Texas is a real urban jungle where one can often witness completely unconscious behaviors like these drivers going the wrong way on the highway. Here, everyone is in danger. Even the emergency services workers often fall victim to reckless drivers. As is the case in this shocking footage, a policeman in the middle of a control hit on the highway. Incredibly, he escaped unharmed. A miracle on the roads of Texas where every day a dozen people lose their lives. Once again tonight, Rick will demonstrate this during his next intervention.
One after another.
A car going at full speed has just hit a motorbike. The rider was projected several meters away. He had no chance. He died on the spot. Another tragedy on Interstate 35.
Se escucha más el 35 porque el 35 como es muy largo, es muy grande, es muy traficado, entonces quizás sí se vea como que hay más accidentes.
With nearly 150 traffic deaths per year, the city of Fort Worth ranks among the deadliest areas in the state of Texas. One of the causes is quite obvious: speeding. Disregard for traffic rules is increasing, resulting in tragic accidents every day. In this footage, this pickup is hit by another vehicle driving at over 74 miles an hour. The speeding truck loses control and destroys everything in its path, an accident that could have been tragic. In 2020, these reckless drivers cause more than 2 accidents per day. To put an end to this problem, the police are intensifying their controls. In office for 14 years, Officer Aaron goes on a daily patrol for dangerous drivers. In his sights is one of the most problematic areas in the city centre.
And we'll go out to our known areas. Like this is a known speeding area. We've had several fatality accidents right down here.
A few days ago, this very suburban neighbourhood was the scene of a dramatic accident. This black vehicle, travelling at over 55 miles an hour, killed a man and his child on the spot. To avoid another tragedy, Aaron relentlessly chases reckless drivers.
52 and a 35.
Here is an example.
The reason I'm stopping you, I got you at 52 and a posted 35 back there, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure it was you.
The driver was speeding at 17 miles an hour over the speed limit. She immediately admits her fault.
I have to hurry up and be on time and drop off my child and run and get coffee. I wasn't aware that I was going that fast.
Aaron has a rather surprising method of keeping order.
And again, running late for work seems to be a common theme of the morning here. We'll issue her a quick warning and send her on her way. I think a warning will change her mind.
In Europe, this speeding ticket would have resulted in the loss of points and a $150 fine.
All right, there you go. Drive safely, okay? Have a good one.
But in Fort Worth, a simple warning is enough, and this driver can leave without a hitch. It takes at least 4 warnings before getting an actual fine. Here, drivers don't fear getting a ticket.
One warning today, okay? You just get a promise to slow down for me, right?
No fine, even if they have the pedal to the metal, like the next car.
So 57 miles an hour right there. That is pretty fast. She's getting close to, most of our freeways here are 60 miles an hour. So she's doing close to freeway speed on a residential street.
At 22 miles an hour above the speed limit, this young driver still risks nothing. In the United States, the driving license point system does not exist.
She's just going to get a warning. Hopefully that will change their mind. Hopefully that'll bring them to slow down non-stop. Speeding has become a pandemic around here, and I think on average, we average 153, 150 in that range fatalities every year.
After 30 minutes and a dozen violations, no penalty was given by the officer. It's no surprise that the roads here are so deadly. In this state, as in the rest of the United States, losing one's license is almost impossible. Heading to Interstate 35, the most frequented road in Texas.
81.
It's an accident-prone highway with a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, but here most of the drivers exceed the speed limit by at least 25 miles an hour.
We stopped her. She was doing 87 and a posted 65. She's headed to take her kids swimming, so I guess she's just in a hurry to get to the pool. I'm going to issue her a warning. She's very polite.
In Texas, the police don't give tickets. Judges decide. Exceeding the speed limit by at least 18 miles an hour results in a fine of at least $330. In case of 4 repeated offences in the same year, the risk of losing one's licence is higher, but then again, nothing is fixed by the law. For this driver, caught at 37 miles an hour over the limit, Aaron has no choice but to give him a court summons.
It was 97 in a posted 60-mile-an-hour zone.
How much is going to pay for that?
I don't know how much it'll pay. That is up to the court. He is going so fast that he has no other option other than to fight it in court or to pay the max fine. Used to, you could. We used to have a point system, and now a judge can revoke your license if they see fit.
Despite his extremely dangerous driving,
all right, drive safe, okay?
This driver is back on the road while waiting for his trial. If he has a good lawyer, he'll get off without a fine. This is rather disturbing, especially since Texas is known for its harsh punishments when it comes to crime. This laxity on the road is going to put another life in danger. It's noon. Traffic is heavy on Interstate 35. A few meters from here, on this intersection, a terrible accident has just happened. It's Nellie, a policewoman, who arrives at the scene.
Never a dull day. There's usually not a driver in there. Usually.
We just had
had another bad accident where a lady, she lost control.
Rolled a vehicle?
Yeah, that just happened.
That just happened.
The impact is impressive. The car looks like it's been ripped open. The driver was hit by a vehicle at the intersection.
I believe this vehicle was speeding down this road here, which is East Berry, and it got hit, and it hit this. The light pole stopped it. The driver of that vehicle, I'm not sure where exactly she's at.
The family who arrived on the scene doesn't know yet, but the driver, who was rushed to the hospital by firemen, died of her injuries on the way to hospital. The impact was just too violent.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad. I don't know how someone would survive that, or how they would even get out of the vehicle.
For Nellie, there is no doubt that speed is still the cause of this fatal accident. The neighborhood is even known for it.
You know, there's a residential area, there's gas stations here, there's people constantly pulling out of all these streets, and people feel the need to speed. People want to get on the freeway and they are in the wrong lane, so they're trying to merge into the lane. The other people don't want to let them. It's a bad mix of everything. It's a perfect storm. Perfect storm.
The investigation that has just begun will determine exactly who is responsible. Dangerous behavior that is not about to end. On the road, some drivers can't resist slowing down to watch the show, causing another accident.
Hey, your cars are driving them. Get over there. Get on the parking lot. Parking lot.
It's always the secondary collisions. This one wasn't too bad, but of course, just everybody wants to know what's going on here, not paying attention to what's in front of them, and this is unfortunately what happens.
Recurring accidents without any measures taken to improve road safety. On this road, 5 people have died in 6 months. With nearly 4,000 fatalities in 2020, driving in Texas is more dangerous than in California or Florida. Enough to spark the interest of some businessmen who own accident-related companies. The number of billboards advertising specialized lawyers has grown by the day, but the sector that brings in billions of dollars is the towing industry. In San Antonio, there is even a towing show that attracts thousands of Americans every year.
We're actually from Louisiana, so we're not from Texas.
Here, 300 dealers display trucks, each more shiny than the other. In the United States, these trucks are designed to impress. The goal, to be spotted on the road with these state-of-the-art vehicles. Colorful design, flashing lights and chrome hubcaps. Gems of the tow truck industry, something that one family in particular dreams about, the Bennetts.
Look at those lights, though. Those are cool. That thing lights up, so when you're backing into a building, you can see it in the mirror, and it tells you where the end of your truck's at. $370,000 for this truck. So we have 6 trucks that are this size and bigger. That's a lot of money.
James and his crew are not just ordinary visitors. They run one of Fort Worth's largest tow truck companies. In 10 years, James and his wife Chloe have built an empire from the ground up.
We started with little trucks, bring our kids with us along. There's a lot of times that they've ridden in the sleeper of the truck. I've gone on calls with him. We may be sitting in the truck for 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes they get out and help, and that's really cool. They can be hands-on.
Children here have a predetermined destiny.
Probably like to be in the towing industry later on in life, because it's something that I think is fun, and I think I enjoy.
And not a lot of people get to mess with $1 million, but like one of these are pretty close to $1 million. So you're going out there and you're literally playing with $1 million. So that's pretty cool stuff. A
business that pays off. His company has a turnover of $7.35 million US. To become the king of breakdown services, there's only one method: handling as many accidents as possible, with 46 trucks and 50 employees.
I don't think that would fit in here. It would be nice.
James has a contract with every emergency service in Fort Worth to be the first to be called in case of an accident.
We average somewhere between 65 all the way up to 105 calls a day, just depending on what type of day it is. You can see these trucks coming in and going and dropping cars.
Making a profit is his obsession. Therefore, James has set a time limit. Maximum 13 minutes to clean the road, not a minute more. A strict rule that Cole knows well. For a salary of $5,500 per month, the employee works on at least 6 accidents per day, with no bonus for the risk involved.
It's dangerous on these roads, though. Everybody drives crazy, so you gotta watch your back all the time. I'm always busy with, just crazy wrecks, all kinds of stuff like that. But it's also dangerous, being on the roads, but it's fun. Over here, like 1 every 6 days, a tow truck driver gets hit and killed.
In Texas, being a tow truck driver is one of the most dangerous jobs. In 2020, 60 died in interventions, hit by vehicles. A constant danger, as in this case. Cole has to get the car out of the scene quickly. The boss times him himself.
We've been here for just over 3 minutes right now, and we're already loading it right now. Our goal is to be under 9 to 13 minutes. The faster we can get him off of the roadway, neither one of these guys are at risk of getting hit by a secondary accident.
All right, let's get out of here. We're ready to roll.
All right, let's get off this road.
Let's do it.
Thanks.
In just 7 minutes, the car is off the road. Mission accomplished with great success, but that's not always the case. On Interstate 820, a huge pileup has just taken place. 3 cars involved, 2 were hit head-on at a speed of over 60 miles an hour. Emergency services are already on the scene. One of the drivers is in a worrying state.
All right, let's take this nice and easy, okay? All right, how do you feel standing? You feel more dizzy, woozy?
This elderly driver is complaining of neck and head pain.
Where are you hurting the worst? The side? Pain here in your belly, wire touch?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This driver is having trouble moving.
So are y'all transporting him too?
Yeah, we're gonna just double load him. Looks like we got one. He's a little bit critical, said he got knocked out. Other one seems critical. We're just gonna double load him, take him to the same hospital.
The driver of the third vehicle is unharmed. The priority now is to remove the cars from the road to avoid another accident. James is tense. His team must move quickly.
Alan, jump in there and just help us. You're gonna come get this one?
It's 6 p.m. It's rush hour, the most dangerous time.
Go ahead and go get your truck. Yep. Alan, you get your truck. Esteban, stay here and help Alan get done.
I can go all the way so we can get by.
He's good, come on.
On the highway, every second out of a vehicle is a risk. James knows he won't make it in time.
I think that we're somewhere around 13 minutes now, but we also had to set inside a lot of traffic just to get through here. We'll clear the whole scene with 3 vehicles in under 20 minutes.
No penalty if his men exceed the time limit. Their safety is the only thing that counts. Trained well, they keep on moving, despite the cars passing by.
We got 2 minutes, and we'll hit 20 minutes. The longer they stay here, these people, the drivers become a target, and these people don't care. But the majority of the traffic during rush hour, they think that where they have to be is more important than what's going on here on the road.
This time, again, the mission is accomplished without a hitch. James and his teams return home safe and sound. The 2 wounded men escaped with a sprained leg and a head injury. On the other side of town, Rick de los Santos, who's been a police officer for over 20 years, begins his patrol. Always armed, the police officer is on the alert. He's on the lookout for dangerous drivers.
Our main problem is people not slowing down or adjusting accordingly to the weather conditions or the road conditions. Driving too fast, not paying attention because they're on their phone, putting on makeup, reading a book, watching a movie. I've seen that.
Dangerous behavior that leads to terrible accidents. Like this one, where two vehicles collide on the highway, resulting in one death. In this clip, a car violently hits the security barrier. Here, two teenagers died on the spot, hit by this black vehicle. Shocking situations that haunt police officers.
I've worked many accidents. I'd work sometimes 4 or 5 a day. There's some situations where it's difficult to work an accident, and sometimes you'll see things that the human is not supposed to see, but it's part of the job, and we have to be professional about it.
Maintaining professionalism in every way, especially in the face of extremely erratic weather. Suddenly it rains heavily, a pitfall for drivers. Bad weather is a major problem here. With a subtropical climate, Texas is known as much for its very hot temperatures as for its storms and hurricanes. Unpredictable weather, which is the cause of many accidents. Like this one with Rick.
For our record, to come through the traffic northbound.
Northwest Loop 820 off of Hazel. Apparently somebody lost control and rolled the vehicle over several times. Anybody being transported?
No, I think it's hydroplane.
Oh, just hydroplane? Yeah.
Getting nobody else. I know, that was surprising.
Yeah, because it's right at traffic time.
Yeah.
Speeding down this wet road, this pickup truck slid and ended up like this, crossing the road. The danger is that it could cause a pile-up, which the emergency services are worried about. To avoid the worst, the tow truck driver hastens to remove the vehicle. Time is running out. The driver still can't believe what happened.
I've never been in an accident before. I was just driving, and I don't know, I kind of started sliding to the other lane, so I tried to glide it because I knew I was sliding, and I caught control for a second, and then I started gliding again.
A situation Rick knows all too well. Accidents like this one he's seen hundreds of times.
Claro, se ve que al tocante al daño que trae la camioneta no fue directo, sino que fue esquiado. Entonces, esto no le quita mucha velocidad. Weather conditions change within seconds, but people don't change. They keep driving fast, and this is what happens.
After only a few minutes, the vehicle is removed from the road. Luckily, the only damage was to the vehicle. Bad weather was the cause of one of the worst accidents the state has ever seen.
Minnesota Fire, we have units still trying to make it that way. Can you advise how many additional units you need?
This is February the 11th, 2021, a day that will go down in Texas history.
They don't have a number, they just said everything that you possibly could bring them.
In a matter of seconds, Fort Worth became the scene of a massive accident which left Texans traumatized. It's 6 a.m., rush hour traffic, the time when people leave for work. The road is very slippery due to ice. A car stopped in the middle of the road. A first truck tried to avoid it, but it was impossible to brake on the ice. He lost control. What happens next becomes a nightmare. A total of 133 vehicles, including 20 trucks, crash into each other at full speed. It's a total tragedy. filmed by witnesses on the other side of the road. This apocalyptic scene will last over 20 minutes. The incessant sound of cars crashing into each other is terrifying. Traumatizing scene that overwhelms emergency workers like Cody and James, two experienced paramedics.
It was like a nightmare. You'd never think you'd go to work that morning and work one of the largest wrecks in the nation.
This was like, it kept happening, it kept happening, kept happening, hit after hit, sparks were flying.
On Interstate 35, speeding and icy roads don't go together. A real scene of desolation where everyone is powerless.
There was a moment of silence before everything rushed back. And as we were walking, we could hear, cars leaking fluids, people screaming for help.
Inside these wrecks, more than 100 people were trapped for over 3 hours.
Me and my partner both looked at each other after we transported our first patient, and we both were like, what just happened? What did we see? We started knocking on windows, trying to find patients who were trapped, who were injured. Some of them that were just trapped but not injured, they would just give us a thumbs up, we'd go to the next car.
In total that morning, 36 people were urgently transported to hospital. In this footage, it's difficult to distinguish individual vehicles. It's a mountain of wreckage. The tow truck drivers can't believe it, like Cole, the employee of one of the biggest tow truck companies in Texas.
It was pretty insane when we got there. Everybody was there was just wreckage and carnage everywhere, and everybody was just trying to figure out what we were going to do because, none of us have seen anything quite that big before. We see a lot of accidents, a lot of bad ones, but that was by far the worst one I've seen. It was just kind of mind-blowing to see something like that.
On site, all the emergency services are working together. It'll take more than 20 hours to clean up the disastrous scene. 6 people lost their lives on that day. A toll that could have been much worse if some drivers didn't have the courage to help others. Trey was in one of the vehicles. 6 months later, it's difficult for him to return to the scene of the tragedy.
I pass it every single day that I work, and it kind of gives me chills every time. There's still scrapes along the center barrier of where vehicles were piled up. So, the memory's still there. It's never going to go away.
Trey, a paramedic by profession, was trapped by one of the 38-ton trucks.
My impact, then another vehicle impacts, and then that's when I look up and see the semi truck trailer heading straight towards me. I just kind of look down and brace for impact.
In this footage, his car is crushed. He almost died.
When I got out and I looked at it, it looked like it folded in like tissue paper. It was. I never thought my vehicle would ever look like that.
In a state of shock, Trey managed to get out of his vehicle and became, against his better judgment, the first paramedic on the scene. Instinctively, he helped the first victims, a heroic act that saved lives.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'd never been in something like that. I'd never seen anything this immense before, and I started checking on individuals. I just didn't know what else to do. I was just so overwhelmed with the situation. I felt like I needed to do something in that particular situation. Yeah, it was a complete nightmare, absolute nightmare. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy.
Suffering from head and back pain, it took him a month to recover from his injuries. Today, completely recovered, he tries as best he can to erase his terrible memories. But the paramedic knows, in Texas, experiencing multiple car accidents is almost certain. Here, disasters are no longer counted, be it during the day or at night. Accidents make business for some, like news channels. A street race turned to a drama in the south of Austin. A man is in detention. Road accidents fascinate Americans. Images are shown on television all the time. To capture them, one needs a very special kind of journalist. San Antonio, South Texas. Ken is an employee of a production company that works for the local TV. For more than 10 years, he's been chasing the most spectacular scenes, especially at night. He covers an average of 3 stories a night.
Generally, there's not a lot of people who like this job. You see a lot of dead people.
To make sure he doesn't miss anything, he's equipped like a policeman.
So inside the car, I have 2 united radios that kind of pick up the surrounding areas and a lot more of what's going on in San Antonio. This one's specifically for the city of San Antonio's police department. I've got another one that's for the sheriff's department and another one that's for the fire department. I can hear them all at the same time.
Every night, he earns $190. In 1 month, Ken earns more than $4,400, no matter how many accidents he films. But he has a lot of competitors, a dozen reporters looking for a story like him. Tonight, he'll not be disappointed.
Right now, I'm trying to get this guy on tape before the EMS closes up shop.
In this residential area, a driver was shot at. It's no surprise, since in Texas carrying weapons is allowed. On the windshield of this vehicle are very visible bullet holes. The driver, shot in the chest, is in the ambulance. He's still alive.
Something that happens a lot here in Texas, there's too many guns on the streets. And the more people that have guns, the more people are gonna get shot. Because I'm at shooting calls usually 2 or 3 times a night. It's bad for the city, good for the news.
Every year, more than 3,000 people die as a result of these shootings. In fact, Texas has the second highest number of gun deaths of any state in the country. Tonight, luckily, the victim will not die from his injuries. But for Ken to make a living, he has to follow one accident after another. The next intervention could be the most important of the evening. It is midnight. In this usually quiet suburban area, a scene totally unheard of. The residents can't believe their eyes.
What I heard is that there is a vehicle halfway in a living room. So we're gonna go check that out.
Unbelievable but real. A vehicle just crashed into this house in the middle of the living room. The driver is in an ambulance. He suffered multiple injuries.
He was transported to the hospital. I don't know which one at this point. We have an officer over there to do an evaluation on him to see if he's under the influence of alcohol or narcotics.
You said he had a vehicle over here first?
That's right there.
So he had a black vehicle.
Yeah, so that probably actually slowed him down, probably. There's a bend in that front wall, but it didn't actually penetrate into the house.
The traumatized family that was inside the house was evacuated in an instant. All family members had a close call.
Nobody hurt inside, most importantly. Everybody's okay, and they're just startled, a little shaken up.
Okay.
In total, about 10 people were in the living room, all safe and sound. Ken, on his part, is happy. He has his story of the evening.
I do it so often that I don't really think about it so much. It's more just shoot, shoot, shoot. When you see a truck sticking halfway out of a house, it's kind of, whoa, glad that's not my house.
The driver, who suffered a hemorrhage and a head injury, was released from the hospital a few days later. As for Ken, it's a big success tonight. The next morning, his story will be on the local TV. The road is a playground for a special phenomenon: wild rodeos. In Texas, a movement is gaining popularity. It's called bike life. Groups of bikers take over the roads and defy the laws of gravity by performing spectacular stunts. In total, this community of enthusiasts consists of nearly 1,000 people. In defiance of all road safety rules, these young Americans take to the highways every weekend, risking everything. A real public danger that worries the authorities. We're able to meet this young generation, riding the wave of danger. Today, there are about 50 of them, some as young as 15 years old. Every weekend, they meet at the same place, this gas station. The leader here is Tone Scott.
We know it's a lot of kids out here that look up to the wrong things. You might got kids out here looking up to drug dealers, they're looking up to, a lot of crazy things. So to keep the kids out the streets, we want to bring them something that they can actually see up close and personal that, hey, cops are the bad guys. We don't really like the cops out here, I'll be honest. Sometimes you got some good cops that are respectful, that let us do our thing, but then you got those one asshole cops. They don't know what we're doing, but if they took the time out to actually, to understand where we come from and why we do what we do, then maybe it'd be better. But for right now, fuck them.
It's 4 p.m, time to storm the city streets.
Bike life, DFW bike life, let's get it!
On this stretch of road connecting Dallas to its suburbs, the bikers took over the entire road, blocking traffic. Whether in the city or on the highway, there's only one goal: messing around on the road, running red lights, disrespecting road rules. The most reckless ones are doing balancing acts until they fall. This biker fell at nearly 45 miles an hour. More frightened than hurt, he gets up quickly. It's out of the question for the bikers to stop for too long. The police could intervene. Like in this footage. That day, the bikers were chased by the Dallas police. A chase that could cost up to 6 months in prison and a $2,200 fine. To avoid this situation, after an hour of rodeo, they go back to the starting point. Their fun, showing off their war wounds.
I was in a no-hander, hit a bump, ain't shit I could do, but we still outside, we still getting active.
You got right back up and do it again?
Yes, sir. Can't let that shit scare you.
Anytime you come out here, you risk your life. You never know what can happen. This is what comes with bike life. He fell, he took that fall like a tap, and he got back up and he started wheeling again.
While the youth have a lot of fun with these illegal outings, for other drivers, it's a real nightmare.
It's very, very dangerous. It's dangerous for all of us. Well, I happened to be behind them, and they damn near, one of them almost fell, but I could have ran over them. So, that shit needs to be somewhere else. I've seen cops in between the mix. Come on, man. Y'all supposed to be protecting us. What are y'all doing with these people? Why are you not stopping them? But, let me go break the law, and they're going to get, I gotta get locked up.
A problem that is not about to disappear, especially since bikers have some competition: illegal car races. In recent years, these gatherings that bring together hundreds of drivers have increased in number. Drifting in parking lots, or in the middle of crossroads, only a few centimeters away from unaware spectators. The worst part is that these races take place in the city, in the middle of traffic. Every year in Texas, about 100 deaths are caused by these illegal races. This evening in Dallas, a vehicle involved in a car race, driving at over 90 miles an hour, hit 5 innocent people. 3 of them died. In the middle of the race, the 2 vehicles collided violently, resulting in the death of the 2 amateur drivers. In the northern suburbs of Dallas, no one in the Lyons family participates in illegal races, yet one of them left them traumatized. Greg and his family lost a loved one.
He was my nephew, and we had a good relationship. Me and Kendrick had a good relationship.
Kendrick was about to turn 46. In February 2020, this father of four was hit by a car. A beautiful life destroyed by a hit-and-run driver in the middle of an illegal race.
He didn't deserve that. He really did. And I just think that he should have had a second chance, you know, here. And I don't know, it's still hard. It's still hard.
Yeah, I feel angry, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Because if they hadn't been done, he would still been with us. You know, he lost his life over something stupid, you know.
Still devastated, Greg and his family want to show us the scene of the tragedy, only a few blocks away.
Less than a mile, probably, from the house. So we are just about there.
It was 5 a.m. when Kendrick drove down this road.
All right.
To get to work.
Yeah, we crossed the street. Come on. Everybody, come on across the street.
That day, without knowing it, he found himself in the middle of one of these races. One of the drivers hit him at over 80 miles an hour. The zone is, however, limited to 40.
This is a place where the accident happened. He was coming out of this street here. The cars was coming this way racing. This is where they hit him, and it knocked the car down here. Caught on fire and burned up, and I think it ejected him and knocked him over this side of the street.
Under the violence of the impact, Kendrick's vehicle rolled several times before catching fire, as this footage shows. A terrible accident that could happen again. This straight road with 2 lanes, ideal for overtaking, has become one of the preferred routes for illegal races, at night as well as during the day.
That's what we're talking about.
What they'll do, they flying, they speed. That's what makes me angry.
And if you notice, right up the street, that's where the other accident happened at. Right up the street here, the other accident happened.
And another one?
Yeah, just here recently. 3 people got killed there.
I try to go their way or the back way. I just don't want to come through here. I start thinking about it.
The family has filed a complaint, but justice is slow. The driver got out of the accident unscathed and, above all, free. In Texas, driving is a constant risk. The number of deaths on the roads has even increased by 7% between 2019 and 2020.